yo, it's your boy Papa Dawn, man. I'm back with another video. We doing a true creepy girl horror story. I don't know what the hell this shit about. We about to see what it's in for though. Where I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button, subscribe, tap in with your boy, man. Grab your blunt, all that shit. And let's get into it. Name is Mary Lou.
This happened to my father one stormy night in Glenwood, Colorado. It was the 1980s. My father was an electrical engineer who was just returning from a job site. He worked long hours, and it wasn't uncommon for him to be heading home around midnight to the small cabin he shared with a friend tucked back in the canyon walls. It was pouring rain. Lightning flashed only to illuminate the murky puddled patches of washed-out terrain. As my father rounded the corner upon the dirt road, he passed a large willow tree. As his headlights crossed its base, he noticed someone was crouched underneath it. It was a woman who seemed to be in her late 20s, with long tangled blonde hair. She had on fairly casual clothing, and carried a somewhat large bundle under her arms wrapped in cloth. My father, being the gentleman that he was, decided to pull over and offered her to take shelter from the storm in his cabin, just up the road. She smiled and thanked him. As she got into his vehicle,
Would y'all had done that shit? I don't know if I had done that shit. What the hell she doing out there in the rain, under a tree? And she wasn't even looking to fan down no cars. Like, she wasn't standing up in the street trying to catch a ride or signal. She wasn't doing nothing like that. And then homie pull up, asks if she want to ride, and she smiles. I don't know, that shit sound a little
explaining
iffy,
that she had been on a hike through the canyon that day when the storm hit, and she had been caught off guard by the rain. Dad smiled and pointed out that she wasn't exactly wearing the best clothing or shoes to go on a hike. She laughed and said that she had left her place on a whim unprepared. He asked if she needed him to dry anything at his place, pointing to the bundle she held tightly under her arm. Her voice suddenly got very stern and stated no. When my father asked her where she lived around the area, things started to get strange.
Of course, because where the hell her car at? She in her late 20s, alright. Her parents, whoever, where her boyfriend, somebody. You telling me she out there dolly, late night, in a storm? Nah, B, nah.
She started telling my dad that she had no friends or family in the area and was quite vague when asked about details of where she lived. All she responded with was that it was too far to drive to tonight in this kind of weather. At this point, my dad said he felt that she was a bit off, but chalked it up to her exhaustion from hiking and standing out in the storm for several hours. As they entered the cabin, my dad remembered that his roommate had left that morning to take a trip out of town and wouldn't be back for several days. My dad would have offered her his friend's room, but wouldn't feel comfortable doing that without her permission. Remember, this was the 1980s. Pocket cell phones weren't on everyone yet. My dad told her that she was welcome to sleep on the couch and dry off as he handed her several towels. She took them from him with her right hand, but still never let go of the bundle she hugged under her left arm. My dad at this point realized that she had never given him her name, so he introduced himself. "Nice to meet you. My name is Mary Lou," she replied. My father started to feel a bit more at ease and turned on the television for her.
He felt at ease just because she gave him her name. Now he feel safe, now he feel cool. All the crazy thoughts he had about her just went out the window because she said her name. Everything good now.
And handed over the remote. She scanned through the channels, finally deciding on a gangster flick. There was a scene that involved a bunch of mobsters getting shot to pieces. Mary found this to be quite amusing and started to laugh in a crackling, high-pitched tone.
Hey, Dragon.
My dad started to get a bit creeped out by this. She was enjoying it a little too much, he said. Then my dad asked her about her life, and things took a turn for the worse. When asked if she was in a relationship, she pointed down at her belt buckle and told my dad the story of her breakup. She claimed her last boyfriend wanted to be domineering over her, and to this she responded by bludgeoning him half to death in his gravel driveway with her belt buckle, the same one she was wearing.
I bet she was like, yeah, what happened to all that gangster shit you was talking earlier? Shorty choking this nigga out with a belt, God. Look at him. Stupid.
He kept saying stop, please stop, and begging, but I wouldn't show him mercy, she said, with a note of pride in her voice. My dad asked if he had been abusing her, or if she was reacting defensively, and she merely scoffed and said, no, otherwise he would be dead. My father's unease grew as the conversations progressed. She told him about her mother dying on the operating table, and how the surgeon who had been working on her walked out covered in blood and said that she would be fine. How is she supposed to be okay with all of her guts in the trash can? She spewed. Then she laughed again, glancing back at the TV screen, littered with disheveled, bullet-ridden corpses. I love the sight of blood. It excites me, turns me on, you know. Death. Draining them to death. At this point, my dad was officially done. He was bigger and strong.
I'm not understanding why the hell he ain't kick her out yet. I grab her. If you want to grab her by her hair, you do that. If you want to grab her by her back, you do that shit. And toss her ass out. You
than
bugging,
she was,
son.
And he was quite streetwise as well, and had seen plenty of horrors in his life. But the way she spoke with a violent confidence, combined with her sure grip upon the bundle which lay under her arm, sent chills down his spine. He needed a plan. Finally, an idea popped into my father's head.
What's that?
I have a friend who's a priest in town. He has access to plenty of shelters funded by the church. You would be a lot more comfortable there instead of on our couch.
Nah,
they can
nigga,
feed you too,
now, son.
and arrange a ride for you to get home in the morning. I can call him right now. He's only a few miles from here, he stated reassuringly. Mary Lou's tone brightened to match his. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much. My father smiled, hiding his relief.
I thought she was gonna say,
of
hell
course,
no.
It's the least I could do for you. As my dad walked over to the phone and began to dial the number, Mary Lou erupted in a low guttural growl. I hate priests. I hate priests.
Oh yeah, she possessed. Word. We dealing with a paranormal activity shit going on right now. Fact.
She said it with a tired hatred, a clear, distinct, audible, whispered disdain from the bottom of her heart, with an unflinching resolve. My dad had enough. This wasn't a game to play anymore. This was beyond a stranger with odd tendencies. A darkness with coiled cruelty had crossed the threshold of his door. You need to leave.
She ain't going nowhere.
And you need to leave now, my dad said, pointing to the front of the cabin. There's the door. I can't have you here and feel comfortable. I'm sorry, but the storm has stopped, and I hate to have you walk in the dark, but that's the way this has to go. Please leave. Mary Lou gazed upon him, expressionless, and finally just shrugged. My father walked her out, standing close to her, in the event that the bundle concealed some type of weapon. He wasn't taking any chances. She smiled at him as she slowly walked onto the front porch. Goodbye for now.
She said for now.
I'll see you when I see you, she said calmly. With that, she walked down the long dirt road, with a single streetlight upon its path. She looked back at him one last time, before crossing the light and disappearing, enveloped by the darkness with no trace of her to be seen. My dad called the police the next day, concerned that she may still be hiding on his premises somewhere. After speaking to his girlfriend about it, who is now my mom, and being convinced by her that she was going to cut the window screen when he was gone, hide in the house, and then kill him. They found nothing, and said the area attracted a lot of transients and nomads. My father then made the mistake of telling his engineer buddies at work, which resulted in them bidding him farewell at the end of each shift, in the form of asking that he say hi to Mary Lou for them. My dad never saw her again. He still questions what could have been in that bundle
That was her tools
that
in
she
this,
so
huh?
adamantly protected.
I
We
knew
will
it.
never know.
I knew it. Her damn tools was in that bag, son. Now your man's is dead. Yo, y'all know the vibes, man. Stay safe, stay out the way. I'ma holler at you.